Why do some people feel pain after receiving Reiki? So this is a really good question because, we like to say that Reiki can do no harm. And it's true that Reiki does not do harm. But then here's the question. Well, why then might I have a headache after Reiki, for instance? Now, I don't know about you, but I sure indeed have had clients experience this. And the thing is that, yes, it's true that Reiki can do no harm. It's true that universal life force energy can do no harm. And when we are healing, when we are experiencing growth, when we are having a healing experience, sometimes that might feel uncomfortable. Let me give you an example. When you are cut, as a matter of fact, the other day I was scratched by my kitten, my little kitty. So he got scared. He likes to be rubbed on his belly. And so I reached, he was rolling around like he wanted to be pet on his belly. And I reached down, and for whatever reason, I approached him from a different direction the other day, and he got scared and he kicked his back leg and scratched the whole way down my arm. It hurt, yes. But as this scratch scabs, it starts to get a little bit itchy, right? And so we think of the itchiness. Well, we know that the itchiness is part of the healing. Oh, this itches. Why is it itching? It's part of the healing process. And it doesn't mean that anything's wrong. As a matter of fact, it's very right for this to itch because it means that it's healing. And so too, when we receive Reiki, Reiki is working on us on so many levels. And it's working on us and with us and through us in all kinds of ways, including sometimes on a physical level. And so as Reiki is working with us, sometimes as we are benefiting from Reiki and as we are healing, we might have some physical sensations. We might get a headache. We might have a pain in our arm. We might have other kinds of sensations that come up. It doesn't mean that anything's wrong. As a matter of fact, it can indeed mean, just like the scab that itches when it heals over, it can very well mean that it's working and it is indeed doing its thing. Now, here's the thing with any pain that we might experience during Reiki or after Reiki. Number one, it should be short-lived. If it does have to do with the healing, it should be short-lived and it should not last for very long at all, a day, maybe two at the most. Like, it should not last long at all. And so if you have a client who, let's say they came in for a session with you and afterward they have just this splitting headache and it's been days, please do go to the doctor. Please check in with a medical professional. Because if it has to do with Reiki, it should be short-lived. It should not last as part of the healing process if it is. It's also important for us to recognize that sometimes we might experience a physical sensation of pain or discomfort after Reiki that has nothing to do with Reiki. Maybe it's the way we were laying on the table. Maybe it's the table that we were laying on and we get up and the next day, oh, my back, what is wrong? Oh, it's the Reiki healing you. No, maybe actually that's just not a good table for you to be laying on. And the next time you have a session with that Reiki practitioner, maybe you want to try sitting or a different table or something else. And maybe that was the cause of the discomfort. Maybe it had zero to do with Reiki at all. And so it's always important for us to explore that and ask those questions as well. Oftentimes when we have these physical sensations that might come from receiving Reiki, or it's not always just physical, it can also be emotional too, like crying after a session or feelings of just being kind of like woozy or what's going on. those kinds of sensations themselves are going to be typically short-lived. So know that they're not something that is going to last, but often afterwards we feel better. So just like with a scratch that's itches and it's like, ooh, what's happening? Oh, it's healing. And then, oh, it starts to feel better after that. That is often the case when we are experiencing healing on that kind of level through Reiki. So always, 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 please check with a medical professional if you have symptoms that persist, that don't go away, or that are troublesome. Please always check with your doctor or a medical professional, because it doesn't mean that it has anything to do with Reiki. So we always want to rule out anything medical, but indeed it can happen that you can have an experience of a headache after Reiki or something like that. Now, I do want to say, if that happens, we can indeed help the situation as well. And so by doing something like drinking water, doing things like grounding, eating healthy foods can really help with those sensations if they arise after a Reiki session or after an attunement as well. That can indeed happen after an attunement too. It doesn't always. So let me also say that if it doesn't happen, it doesn't mean the attunement didn't work. Some people feel all kinds of things, experience all kinds of things after an attunement. I did not. The attunements that I received, they felt great, but all of my attunements, people might experience some like earth-shattering shifts in their lives. Nah, I didn't have any of that at all in my life. Reiki was working in my life on a much more subtle level. And so too, Reiki, just because we don't feel anything doesn't mean it's not working. Reiki can and does work on us on all kinds of levels and in all kinds of ways that are indeed very subtle too. So Reiki does not have to have the volcanic effect on us with cataclysmic earthquake kinds of shifts. Indeed, it can be glacial shifts as well. Your Reiki experience can be a glacier rather than a volcano, and there's nothing wrong with that. So sending lots of blessings and best wishes to, what was the question? Oh, if you experience any kind of a headache or sensation, pain after Reiki. So I'm sending lots of blessings and best wishes to all of the positive sensations and all of the healing that you might experience through Reiki. So thank you so very much.